Hello, and welcome to the thing where I'm like doing the stuff. Live streaming programming development. Let's see, I need to tell this to re-download. Hold on. Got this. Sync. Alright, so tonight I'm actually working on the background code for pathing. Or at least that's my intended goal. I'm gonna have to make something in here that does something. Here we go. The Manhattan method, which I might have remembered incorrectly, so that's not the right thing. That's not it. There we go. Alright, let's see. Somewhere in here, okay, I have to ignore that. Alright, total number of squares, horizontal and vertical, to reach the target square. And then multiply it by the cost for moving one square horizontal or vertically. Yeah, so I'm doing it right, because right now I don't have a cost for moving other than 1. My cost for moving is 1, just because I haven't figured out what I'm going to do yet. Alright. Let's fix these 3. There we go. So our first bit on the map is where we start from. It has a G, which means G is your score, the amount of effort required to get here. So it's going to be a 0. And then the Manhattan for it, the H value, which really, wow, I hit the mute button on my mic with the pop shield when I moved the mic. I am smart. The Manhattan value doesn't actually even matter, but basically it's a rough estimate of the effort required to get from here to the end. So the Manhattan method, when executed on other squares, basically tells you, hey, are we going in the right direction? So first we have to go through, I need a list. I need a closed list and an open list. So I'm going to have local closed list equals table and open list equals table. Alright, that should be good. So, while not complete, okay, if, see, at this point we should have a value called map, so, I'm not sure how I'm going to implement the lists yet. I know exactly how to do it. If not, closed list. So basically, a closed list will have true values in specific places that simply mean that this particular, like, value, I guess you could say, this particular attempt or whatever does not work. I'm not sure exactly. If not closed list, X, Y, Z. Of course, we're going to be checking various points all around. We're going to check 1 up, 1 down, 1 left, 1 right, and then on the z-axis, all of those points plus where we are, above and below. So it's a lot of points to check, which kind of sucks. So if it's not on the closed list, and something else, if it's not on the closed list and it's walkable, so we need to say and map dot is walkable, X, Y, Z, then open list x, y, z equals true. So basically we're going to say it's on the list of things we could go to, but we also need to specifically say what is true of that point. So that's going to be interesting, because we need to have that point basically say whether it's open or not. I have this paper upside down, actually. Alright, so we put our current position on the open list. It's actually the open list right away needs to also... I'm going to put the open list up here. I'm going to say open list. I'm going to say open list x, y, z equals true. I think the open list actually needs to contain a copy of what's going on rather than just a true value, I think. So this path part may not be necessary right there. I'm not sure. Anyhow, open list x, y, z equals... Yeah, I definitely don't need the local path equals... No, wait, yeah, I definitely do, actually. Well, I'll figure that shit out when I need to. Open list. Okay, the open list has the first thing on here. Now this, our second value, will need to have x equals x, y equals y, z equals z, a g of 1, but that 1 can't just be 1, it has to be the previous point. So let's say path dot g plus 1. So yeah, we definitely need path, because path is going to be the current spot on the list that we're on. I kind of want to have this just like, so we have open list, close list. I want to combine those into one statement. And if I remember correctly, that's how you do that in Lua. If I'm wrong, this will go horribly wrong. Alright. So, while not complete, do if not closed list. And map is walkable, then open list equals that new value. The g is g plus 1, because our g values are going to be plus 1. H equals Manhattan. X, Y, Z. X2, Y2, Z2. Alright, but we're going to... what am I doing?
Will the parents of the Argon girl by the name of Susie please pick her up at the casino? Thank you.
No. That was kind of random that one of the tracks in here is just literally an announcement voice saying, "Would the parents of Susie please pick her up?" I would not expect that to be part of a soundtrack. I'm gonna go ahead and say that our first check is x minus 1. That way this makes a lot more sense when I start actually using the proper values where we're going to change things. So first we check x minus 1. So if it's not closed and it's walkable, then we add it to the open list, generating the values for it as appropriate. Its parent needs to be path. Oh, jeez. And path.child needs to equal open list x minus 1 y z. That way... Oh shit. The child, my idea of having a child node and parent node doesn't work, because the child would be set to everything. Alright, the idea of having child nodes is a cool one, but will not work until we get to the end of this. Because because basically the child works as reverse order for the parents. Like it'll say like the parents are here. The parents go one way along, and the child goes the other way. I'm trying to make a doubly linked list where I can't. Or at least not yet. I might be able to. Actually, I'm just going to uncomment that, but this part's going to stay commented out because that is not the right place for that. So first we check x minus 1, and then we have to check several other locations. And God, I hope there's a better way to do this and that I can learn that sometime later and replace this with that once I learn it, because this is kind of tedious and terrible. Alright, so this is going to be our y minus 1. Oops, see, I already forgot a spot where it's supposed to be y minus 1 instead of x minus 1. It's supposed to be y, half to g plus 1. Yep. Beautiful. I'll remove that bit. So we're checking minus 1 on the x, minus 1 on the y. Now let's do... Let's do plus 1. I wonder if I can just cheat and do this. I can! Awesome. Alright, we're going to make a copy of the x. I'm going to put it right here. We're going to do the same thing with that one. Just going to replace all these minuses with pluses. So we're checking both above and below it, and a left and a right. Now we got to check directly above, which is going to be just on the z value differences. So I'll copy this, and I'll take all these little plus ones, and I'll remove them. And I'll say z minus 1. Z minus 1. Z minus 1. Z minus 1. This may be horribly broken, just saying. I don't know if it'll work. I hope it does. But it might be horribly broken. Alright, that's right. Just had to look over it real fast to make sure it was right. Okay, and then we'll do the same thing here. Only this time it's going to be z plus 1. And now we got to combine the everything from above these two with the z's being changed with the z's being changed. So all of that, and we need a z minus 1 version and a z plus 1 version. Wow, that's a lot. Okay, so z minus 1 here.
Please note that any space weed consumption aboard this station is against the law.
Okay, I won't consume space weed. They literally called it space weed in that game, apparently. Ah, that's great. Alright. Z1, Z minus 1, Z minus 1, Z minus 1. So much tedium. Wow. Oh well, at least I got good music. Right? Right? Z minus 1. And of course I have to keep muttering it to myself so I don't lose my place, so you know that always helps. It's part of that stupid desire to always fill dead air when it doesn't need to be. I'm sorry. Let me just... Chooch. Chooch. Okay. Oh, that's not gonna work. But if I take Z minus... Z minus, and then just go coop, coop. There you go. Now everything is Z plus. So we should be checking, excuse me, checking everything and putting it on the open list. Oh my god, so much stuff. See, here's the giant error that's going to happen here. Every one of these checks, like, well, actually, if we just start with this, open list XYZ equals first, it's gonna crash on that line. It's not even gonna get to the rest of this. And the reason why is because basically, what I'm telling it to do here is I'm saying go to open list, look at the variable x, which should be a table with the variable y in it, which should be a table with the variable z in it, which should, which I will then place this. Doesn't matter if z exists, but if x doesn't exist holding y, well, if x doesn't exist holding a table that has y that's also a table, that'll fail. So I have to do that. And that. And see, now it won't fail on that. Like I said, I'm not 100%, I'm pretty sure I said I'm not 100% certain. I'm not 100% sure about that, but I'm pretty damn sure about that. But I'm gonna test it. I'm gonna test it anyhow. We don't actually have the pathing required from anywhere. So my first step is to require pathing. Which is going to fail. Or maybe not. Oh, okay, I failed somewhere else. 21. 21. Oh, yeah, I forgot a comma over here. Oh, please tell me I didn't forget that comma on like every single... Okay, good, I didn't. 'Cause that would suck. That would suck very much. What I need to do is take advantage of Lua's metatables. See, it loads, but watch what happens if I try to call the path method, right? Even though it doesn't do anything yet. Like, okay, map xyz, xyz2. Right, so if I try to say somewhere down after the map is created, right? Somewhere, that's, yeah. Somewhere like right here. After it's been done. Alright, so I'm gonna say to call pathing. Not pathing. Actually, yes. No, it's gonna be called path. Let's just see if I try pathing if that works. Because I told it to be pathing, but it won't be pathing, but maybe it will. Let's just say 111 to 2, 2, 2, right? Simple. Will break. Main 106. Attempt to call pathing a table value. Oh yeah, I forgot about that. So, actually it's that. So now it's going to attempt to index a nil value on line 27, right? Which is, you guessed it, right here. Attempt to index a nil, right? Index a nil, yeah. So, if I do that, right, it'll do the exact same error. If I do that, it will fail at 33 when it attempts to index a nil value, and that would be this nil value, the closed list on a table that doesn't exist. That rhymed. Didn't mean for it to do. By the way, I remember I had the problem yesterday, or the last time I streamed, where the graphics were going horribly wrong. Let me get rid of the fucked up pathing for a moment, and I can show you how that went.
The shadow of death lies around this colossus. Sad to see it go, but we had to.
Okay. So, as you can see, as I scroll up through it, we don't have black appearing. And basically what ended up being the excuse me. What ended up being the problem was simply that I was using, what's it called? Yeah, I'm going at it the other way now, going down. I was using, what's it called? I was using Love2D, the default love.run function, which by default will blank the screen between every draw. And the code that I was using was relying on the screen not being blanked. So the screen was being blanked, and so there'd just be black, where there should have been whatever was below. But there's a side effect of doing it this way now. If I scroll really fast, you get this, which it's probably not showing up on the stream as it looks to me right now, because to me, I'm seeing kind of this really weird glitchy effect that I just stopped it just now. Belated seizure warning. Ah, shit. Yeah, hopefully on the stream it doesn't show up how it actually shows up, but it shows up pretty wrong. But that's only if you scroll through it really fast, which shouldn't happen in anything that I do later on. Because that whole code to show each level like that isn't even going to be relevant at some point. So, yeah. Yeah, so I modified the love.run function. I removed the clear, the origin, and the present, and then down in my own love.draw, I added the present. So it won't clear every time. And then this is the rest of it is the default love.run, which I'm actually going to change because it has a lot of unnecessary checks. These checks become necessary if you disable certain parts of the love engine or enable certain parts, then it needs to check, like, are you using the event system? Are you using the math library? Are you, what is it? Let's see. Are you using the timer system? Are you using, do you have an update function? Do you have the window and graphics, which are actually required for it to run? So those checks are unnecessary no matter what you're doing, but, yeah. And that's why I have this comment here saying, optimize this for my stuff, because right now it's not. So, metatables. Metatables are this really nifty thing that you can do with Lua that I don't know how to do, really, but I can. I've done it, but oh god. It's not, it's not fun. At least it's not fun for me. And I think that's primarily because I'm just not used to it. Come on, go into a new window. I want you in a different window. I want you, like, over here. How do I make it do that? I could have sworn there was a way that I used to be able to do that. Oh well. Yeah, I'm basically going to use this as a reference to figure out how to do what I need to do right now. Basically, I'm going to make a meta table for, let's see. Yeah, I'm going to call it, I'm gonna make it, shit. I'm gonna make it here. Local, what's it gonna be called? List meta table. List meta table, okay. Index equals function tk, I believe is what I need it to be. Let's see. Index function tk, and then you return the value, or an error if you do a thing wrong, you know. And then you set metatable omt, well, O being the object, and then mt being the metatable. So yeah. This is gonna be interesting. Alright. It's basically if I'm gonna ignore that. I'm just gonna say if tk k, then return tk? I'm not sure if that's the right way to do it. Also, I think I forgot to close a if somewhere. No, I didn't. I thought I did. That's not right, though. If it's a number, then looking at the hell does R mean? What you're gonna return? Okay, value in pairs t. If the value is equal to k, then we're gonna return R. Else we're gonna set a new key. Gosh, how do I make this work? Because I'm sure there's a way to do it, and there's a way to do it that's eloquent and wonderful, but I don't know what that is. This is a completely useless statement. I just realized that. Because we wouldn't be getting to this. It would never even look at this function unless it already had tried that. So that was just plain wrong. So at this point we need to say tk equals table. Return tk. That's gonna fail, but I'm gonna try it anyhow. It's not gonna work. It's not gonna work. Actually, because the thing that needs to happen is I need to say set meta table tk and list meta table. So it's gonna set itself to that thing. I don't know if this will work, but hopefully it will. Open list meta table. Closed list meta table. Oh wait, what? Either I haven't edited it back in. Yeah, I haven't edited it back in. Okay, because I'm expecting that to fail. Yeah, attempt to. Oh, it's a module. Modules, you can't access any globals in a module. So if I want to be able to access set meta table, I have to say local set meta table equals set meta table. Set meta table? Set meta. Yeah, that's right. Basically, I have to say, hey, I want to be able to use this thing, and it goes, oh, okay, I'll let you use that thing. 38. Attempt to index a nil. Yeah, okay, we're coming back to this problem. Because the way I solved it here, when you're trying to set a new value, it would say... Yeah, it would say this equals that plus that. Okay, set a new key. tk equals tu. What's u? Oh, yeah, set the new key value. Okay. Return new value. This is very strange. I need to solve this problem here because if I have to go down into the rest of the code to solve it, it's going to be a pain in the ass. Table key. Okay, this is saying if the key doesn't exist, then create it and make it a table and return that. I imagine, let's try and say, rather than doing that, let's try and say open list 5, like just some random thing, equals first, right? So that's gonna fail at 45, which means it's going past that just fine. But that would probably work regardless of the meta table, because that's nothing to do with the meta table. Right, so let's save that, run it, and it'll go to 45 again. So yeah, that's perfectly fine, because we're just accessing something on its own level, right? The problem comes in when we want to access something else, right? So here's where, oh, it gets to 45. So you can access one thing within another thing. Okay, let's say 4 now, right? And there it's going to say attempt to index a nil value. So this works just fine. The problem is when... The problem is when you try to go to that last level. Okay, so this translates to open list.5.2 equals whatever, right? Like, to make this easier to look at, let's just call it x and y, right? And I'll just set this to first so it doesn't even matter. You're saying go into the x property and then go into the y property and set it to that, right? Which, again, it's going to work. It's going to get to the 46th line, which is down here, and that's where it's going to fail. So that works perfectly fine. So x, even though it didn't exist at all, is created just fine, but it looks like the set meta table bit isn't working. What if I... God, this is a terrible way to do this. Maybe I have to get meta table, because at that point in the code it can't access this. I don't get meta table t. What am I doing? Uh-oh. I'm gonna Stack Overflow in a moment. Because if it freezes like that, that means it's doing something really long, and it shouldn't be. So, yeah, shit. Okay. So I've done something horribly wrong, obviously. Okay, what is this? Meta tables tutorial. Alright, so set meta table, get meta table. I'm doing it right as far as I can tell. I don't know why this is wrong. I don't get how this is wrong. So like I thought I could have just said, let's try. This is a weird, dumb idea. Oh wait. A table where we say index equals get meta table of t dot index. This is a really dumb way to do things, and if it works, I'm gonna hate everything. Yeah, didn't think so. Because it's gonna fail for the same reason what I was working on is failing. Yeah, why? List meta table. Why does this not work? Wait, this gets us to 47, right? But the moment I try to say z in here, which should be a perfectly reasonable thing to request, attempt to index nil, which means it goes through the y just fine. It just can't handle z. Let's see what happens if I do that. Yeah, y 41. Attempt to index filled y a nil value. Oh, that time it's saying y is nil. What? Hold on. 47 nil. Alright. 47 nil. Let's get rid of that statement entirely. 47 nil. Okay. So this time, oops, Control A is not my friend right now. Damn it. 41. Attempt to index y, a nil value. Maybe I need to make this, instead of doing this and assuming that it would recurse. Hello, ham and eggs. I am failing at programming right now. Let's see, instead of assuming that that's gonna work, I guess I could say, check it. How about I print whatever k is at this point, right? So I can at least see what k is. Like, what's running into k? Attempt to, oh yeah, because I didn't allow us to use print in here.
Ladies and gentlemen, station administration would like to remind you to keep
X.
children away from the airlines.
Okay, key is X. X. Well, of course it's X. I just put it there. Oh, of course, here is a completely different thing from what I was doing there. I didn't even think about that, but yeah. Y. Z. Alright, that time it's a 1, which is what it should have been. Alright, I'll be right back. I need to use the bathroom. I am tangled in cords. Hello again. I have returned. Still with 0 drop frames. Excuse me. And a phone in my way. That's always fun. Alright. So, let's see. What am I doing? What am I doing? Okay, so the problem now is that I don't know what 1 means. Because we were just calling it with 1, 1, 1. So, I'm going to call it with distinct values so we can know precisely what value we're looking at. Right? That is the wrong thing. There we go. Okay, so we got a 1, which means that the key that we're trying to access when it hits that point is the very first one we pass, which is an X, which is this X. So this one it should say tk equals that, set the meta table of that to that, and return that. Then it immediately fails. Then it immediately fails with attempt to index a nil value. Damn it. This is difficult. So it gets into the index function here, but then it utterly fails to be able to get past that point. Hello, Rageman1982. Does you know Lua? Cause I fail. Ah, it's great. It's very great. Is there additional info being passed here? In fact, let's just print, whoops, TKA. TKA! Which gives us a table, a 1, and a nil. Which is exactly what it should give us. Which is also exactly what I don't need. Haha. It looks like I'm just not going to be able to use metatables to get around this problem. I'm just going to always have to set things. That really sucks. Oh my god, do you... Oh my god, do you realize how much crap I'm gonna have to rewrite down here? Okay, so let's get rid of the setting metatables. Because that's not gonna work. Okay, and then we'll just go back to our original code here. What's... Oh, yeah. Okay. And metatable. Oops. There we go. Okay. Metatable attempt failed. Now let's see if we can get past the very first one of these. You know what? Every one of these is like exactly the same with one variation. I need to turn this into a function that I can just call that just knows what to do. Let's see, what is this doing? It's adding something to the open list if appropriate. It's adding something to the open list if appropriate. So, maybe let's make a local function in here that just knows what to do with that. Pretty sure I'd fail if I did that. Ow. Is open equals function x, y, z. And it would basically go if closed list x minus 1. No, not x minus 1, just x equals nil, then closed list x equals end. So it creates the table of x first if it's not there, and then it immediately just returns because I don't want to call it is open, I want to call it something else. Open. Open path? I don't know. Open, fuck it, I'm calling it open path. And then at that point it returns, because at that point there's nothing to add to the open list, because... No, wait, no. Because if it's not on the closed list... Actually, if the closed list doesn't even exist, then we can certainly add it. Add it. Else if closed list x, y equals nil. I need to make this more readable. There we go. Then also add it. Else if closed list x, y, z equals nil. Then Also add it. Also add it. End. So basically, we check multiple times if it should be added, and then fail out if we don't. Which means I guess I should really change this to be, if it's not equal to nil, add it. Else if that's not equal to nil. So I really should just change all of these to not equals nil.
There go our parking privileges.
What the fuck? Oh my god. This soundtrack is weird because it's like music, music, and then random dialogue. Music, music, random dialogue. Else. Here's where we actually will add it. So, if it's not equal to nil, if it's not equal to nil, no wait, I'm doing everything wrong. I'm doing everything wrong again. Okay. I'm a horrible programmer. Don't let anyone ever tell you otherwise. If open list X if open list whoops y equals nil, then open list X y equals table open list X Y Z equals X equals X, Y equals Y, Z equals Z. There's a lot of duplication of data here. I'll have to work on that later, because that is possibly really dumb to be duplicating it that way. Path.g. Will it even know what path is? Yeah, it will. H equals Manhattan. X, Y, Z. X2, Y2, Z2, and then parent equals path, and then return. It doesn't even need to return. This really should just be changed to if that's equal to nil, or this equals nil, or that is equal to nil. No, that's not right. Fuck it. Stop trying to change things, me. Parent equals path. Okay. I think that's good. So I'll replace this with a simple call to open path. Open path x minus 1 y z. Pathing 79. So it looks like it went through that just fine. And basically that bit of code there completely erased the need for this. I'm gonna keep it there just kind of to remind myself what was there though. And now I'm just basically gonna go through every one of these ifs here and replace it with just a call to that function, since that function does what all of these do. I should have done that to start with. But I didn't think about what the common elements were, I just thought about what the uncommon elements were. Which is very dumb of me. Hey Lamelli, you here to see me fail? Fail at code? Lamelli's a programmer friend of mine. He can program Ardu good. Open path x, y minus 1, z. Then this one, open path. Lamelli, I am doing what's it called? I'm doing A-star pathing right now. Look at how good I am at code. Open path, X, Y, Z plus 1. I don't know why I call Z Z all the time. I'm not... I'm American, so, you know, it's... I should be saying Z, because that's what we say. But, apparently not. And I'm failing at typing. Awesome. X, I keep failing just a little bit at my capability of typing. Open path, X, Y plus 1, Z. Minus 1. You know what I never understood? Why touch typing is called touch typing? Because touch typing is where you have to look at the keys. Is how it was explained to me, in any case. I don't know, I'd have to look that up to see if that's actually true. Can't be bothered right now. Laser effect. Yeah, so Lamelli's a sorta good programmer, according to himself, because of his laser effect. You should see his laser effect. He made a wonderful laser effect. Sarcasm is fun. Okay, so this should fix all my problems. But it looks ugly as fuck. I don't like it. Okay, so let's try running it. Something's recursing. Fuck. What's recursing? I'm not recursing anything. Seriously, what the hell could be recursing? To Wikipedia. Oops. Okay. Type using all one's fingers and without looking at the keys. Oh, so touch typing is what I do most of the time. I fail a little bit at it right now. What is opposite of touch typing? Yeah, that's the alarm telling me to stop. What is the opposite of touch type? Look at it. Look at it. That's funny. Touch typists will know their location on the keyboard through muscle memory. Typically involves the home row, blah blah blah, like the proper typing. Oh my god, what? That keyboard is weird. That keyboard is weird. Where's the space bar? Is it on the right? Oh my god, it's right there. It's on the right. It's not like there's only one and it's on the right side. So if you lose your right hand, you're fucked. Always prepare to lose your hands, folks. Always prepare to lose your hands. That's terrible advice. Never prepare to lose your hands. You should never think about losing your hands. It's a terrible thing to be thinking about because it means you're fucked. Oh my god. It's not recursing. It's just in an infinite loop because this is while not complete. And we never set complete to true, so it just freezes there and never actually exits the loop. I am a moron and I should have my programming license revoked. Look at the glitchiness. Look at it. Unless you can have seizures through glitchiness, in which case don't look at it, because, yeah. Alright. Well, we know those bits work. And that is much nicer than all the complicated crap code that I had before. It makes sense now. It makes sense. Alright. What am I doing? Okay, so I've done the part where I've added things to the open list. That's step 1. That's step 1. Yeah, let's see. That's step 1. And then I need to add thing to close list. Add Add current path to closed list. Choose new current path from these things on open list. Best. To answer your question, Lomeli, I'm actually stopping right now. Choose new paths from new current path from these things on open list. Best F, which equals G plus H. All right. Yeah, Lomeli, you came in at the end of it. I've started doing this every night, 8 o'clock. I do live stream coding and failing so hard, and then I stop at 9. Did I say 8? Did I say 9 and 9? No, I'm pretty sure I said that right. 8 p.m. to 9 p.m. I'm actually running over right now because I didn't stop right away. But yeah, I'm gonna stop now. So, whoops. Thanks to those of you who showed up. And, I'm gonna say fucked up broken pathing, yeah. And, continuing work on pathing. Alright. Fuck yeah, sure, I'll talk on TeamSpeak for a bit. On the player.me server, or what? Anyhow, that's it for this. Goodbye.